Welcome back to the Dungeon Master's Block, the place where we come to talk about the Dungeon Master, the most important person in the game. With every conversation, we hope to inspire as many as possible to keep on dungeon mastering.
And I'm one of your hosts, DM Neal, aka Joke Maniac.
And I'm one of your other hosts, DM Derrick, aka How Not to DM.
I do like that intro because this time around we're going to have not one, but two guests, both from the 3RPG podcast. I feel like that feels weird now that I've said it out loud and it's not all three, but I guess there's only so much room here on this Zoom call.
Two of the 3RPG podcast, yeah. Yeah, we had a super great chat with Jay and Sandra, and we're really excited for the rest of you to hear it. But before we get to that, a couple of housekeeping items. We both have been chatting about office hour time. We have not settled on a specific time yet, but look for that announcement sometime early September for a later September office hours date.
Yep. But yeah, for this one, we're going back into the Divine Spotlight, and thankfully for me, people did not read what I typed because I definitely typed way too many times the old school setting of Mystra. And I'm really pleased that no one did any research into that because instead we're going to be talking about Mystra.
Yeah, it's funny. I definitely read it as Mystra, and then until you pointed it out, I hadn't realized. So funny what the brain will do.
Boy, that would have been a wild conversation. Hey, it could have been fun. But I say with that, let's head to the meat.
I'm starving. We ain't had nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days.
Why can't we have some meat?
The plate meat's back on the menu, boys.
So today we have not one, but we have two guests. We have Jay Underwood, music composer and RPG designer, and we have Sandra Rosner, writer, editor, and my favorite attribute, troublemaker player. And both of them are hailing from the 3RPG podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us. Oh, in unison.
Ooh.
But before we jump in, as always, we'll have a little bit of an interview section. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourselves that you think our listeners would be interested in.
So primarily, I'm a writer. I'm best known for writing the lore and art book for World of Warcraft Dragonflight expansion. I also have done RuneScape, the official cookbook. Basically, I'm in a thing called IP management. So I basically get to take everybody's favorite franchises and figure out what else you want to do with it. So whether it's lore and art books, cookbooks, kids' books, things like that. So that's my day job. But the rest of the time, I just love creating worlds and being in worlds and messing up worlds. Right, Jay?
That's so funny, Sandra, because I've had not one but two coworkers recently, and I've looked over and they're on their phones and they are playing RuneScape on their phones. So I'm going to tell them both about the cookbook now.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
I want to say, it's going to start coming up so much more, but we're going to have to start talking about how much WoW I've played, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I need a slash time played out of you.
Oh, yeah. My slash played is, because the thing of it is, I was not an alt guy. I was a main.
Me too.
There was just one slash played and it's bad.
It's in years, isn't it? Tell me it's in years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I used to, in the ICC days, I was the one running the 25-man guild.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
It's like that or Civilization, right?
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. The guy who's the forever dungeon master was also doing it in World of War.
Right? Yeah.
Well, Sandra's also forgot to mention that she's also the producer of our latest game, The Secrets from an Old Shoebox, which is perhaps still available as a late backer on Kickstarter.
If it isn't, we are going to be having it released in a bunch of places as well. So there might be a little bit of a lag time, but that is next.
Very nice. Yeah, Jay, go ahead and introduce yourself too.
So yes, I started off as a music composer with a penchant for writing contemporary opera. That didn't get me a whole lot of jobs. So then I started pushing for game design, and I'm currently a university teacher in Japan. My most recent design is previously mentioned Secret from an Old Shoebox, which you could find on the 3RPG podcast. Link down in the show notes, perhaps. Sorry, blatant shill.
That's what this section's for, baby.
Yep. I would say that is a perfect segue, though, for down in the show notes, because our next question is there anything that you're currently working on and, as with NDAs, that you can tell us about?
Yeah, I'm in the very, very, very early stages of pitching a cookbook project with a fellow chef that I know. It would be a TTRPG theme, but beyond that, I can't speak to that. Otherwise, they will not greenlight it because I would be strictly under NDA at that point.
Yeah, sad to say, most of the other projects that we have percolating in the background are not ready for a presentation at the moment. But do take out Secrets. It's a really great game. It's about journaling, and it's started off as a game about sort of being a bit nostalgic and trying to like kind of pull out deeper, maybe a little bit more sadder, melancholic emotions. But it's got the possibility of being a really kind of crazy, zany, multi-genre shifting game, which is quite fun. We're proud of it.
Awesome. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Because we've done this one before. And I always like the answer because for Derek and I, we get to check in and see if our answer has changed. Because when we ask a surprise question, we have to ask it of ourselves. And oftentimes only one of us knows what it is. So it is a surprise to the other host. So we're going to ask if in real life you were capable of casting but one spell, which spell would you choose?
I've had this discussion with a lot of people before, and it kind of falls into that, like, if you were a superhero, what superpower would you want type of discussion?
For sure.
And I think it's a type of, like, not divination, but mind reading capability. So you'd be able to see or somewhat influence what people are thinking when they're thinking. Go into a job interview, you get that job because you just incepted them with a little thought, and then you could just walk around and just cast that spell. I mean, it could be used for malicious purposes, but more like just to get the good jobs that you want. Currently, I'm in the process of looking for full-time employment, so maybe that's why it's like close to my wheelhouse. Ask me again in a few years, it might change.
I like it. Like I mean, with the 5.5, it's the emanation, like that charisma where you're like just a subtle influence. You still got to put it in the work, but you got that edge at all times.
Yeah, luck spell would be another really good one, I think.
I like that, but I kind of get stuck in the moral quandaries of that. So I don't think I would use it as much as I could. So for me, it'd probably be something that like is a appearance altering. So transformation kind of things. I can skirt the moral dilemmas kind of if I get to like play other things. So yeah, I think that'd be it. I think, yeah, definitely some kind of shape-shifting kind of, maybe a little charm in there, little something with it.
One of the big things that is always a factor when I think through it is, am I just 100% me and we're just in this world, like this one right now? Because if it is useful, and especially if it goes big boom, I don't want to be responsible. I will be sought after in a way that I am not up for. The true polymorph one is always an interesting one, though, because I think there's a way that you can monetize that and also not be sought after in a huge negative way. And then I'm still pretty locked into my go-to of all time. But it is also the superpower one, but comprehend languages.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like it has so many uses and you will still be sought after by many people, but also like I could just be at home. But then like they could uncover like this ancient artifact and they're like, one guy totally knows what it says. And then they'll bring it to me and I'll be like, I don't know if they've uncovered certain things where it's just a guy complaining about his cat that messed up his stuff from like 5,000 years ago.
Yes.
Like, same stuff. Thousands of years removed. And it's just a guy complaining about his cat.
Now, does your comprehend languages ability extend to like whale song and bird song and all types of other types of communication?
Plants screaming.
Yes, that's speak with animals.
Speak with animals.
Only if it's written down. Ooh, what an interesting thing though, because would it technically be true if you printed it like the waveforms out for me?
Yeah, and then you can hear them.
Uh-huh. Oh.
What are whales chatting about?
I like this. In this fictional world, we're testing my theories. Yes. Derek, what have you chosen this time around?
Oh boy, I usually go altruistic with like the cure disease or create water. So we're gonna swing the other direction because that's too sappy, and not too sappy, but too sad. And we're gonna say Because I just finished doing dishes, prestidigitation. Just be able to clean stuff.
Nice.
You win.
That would just be really nice to be able to clean stuff instantly. And I could clean myself. I could clean my children. I could clean my house. A lot of things I could get really clean really fast.
What would you do with all that free time?
I don't know. Probably sleep more.
Ooh, I feel like we are just like a tag team duo at like just every museum, because like I can read what it says and like you can magically clean it.
I was thinking mending could be kind of sick too, because you could mend a lot of stuff, but it's so simple in its wording, saying you can mend like something small, like one broken piece. So I don't feel like you could uncover the world's secrets very quickly if you were just doing that. But prestidigitation, it's a cantrip, so I can do this as many times as I want, and it can be up to an hour of duration. Yeah, there's a lot of nice stuff you could do with that. Start a cleaning business,
I feel like our answer has really established us into a different alignment and character class. We've got a pretty good adventuring party here of distinct alignments and whatnot. I feel like Derrick here, he's established himself as the kind of the grounding member of our party, the leader.
Very
here.
practical. Yeah, very practical this time.
Well, I'm knocking vases off the shelves and, having been transformed into a cat by Sandra's polymorph spell.
Yeah.
Absolute true neutral. I'm like, yeah, I'll read it. Whatever.
Yours is interesting, Neal, because there's a bunch of dead languages, right? Or dying languages that only have a handful of speakers left. So if you could get those people to write down their alphabets and write down as much as they know, you could be the one who passes it on.
You're preserving culture.
Yeah.
Have any of you read Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn trilogy? The first 3 books? Okay.
I'm through the first one.
I'm not going to spoil it then. We'll leave it at that.
Ooh.
Okay. But unfortunately, none of these are available to us because Mystra is not in this world. Oh, look at that. Look at it. It's like I know what I'm doing. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And so this is interesting because I presented you with a list of deities that we had not chosen, and you ended up choosing Mystra. And I'm really excited because I don't think we've chosen a deity at this power level before. Because I mean, we can go 2 notches above it, because I know it's Ao, and then Saloon and Shar would be potentials above it. But Mystra is interesting because it's basically all magic. And while I could sit here and wax poetic about all of the options that are first edition, and we actually call her Mistral, and then she dies, and then we do a different version, and then she dies again, and we do a different version, and then the Spale Plague and the Sundering. And the thing of it is, I don't want to do any of that, because at the end of the day, it's all about how we're adding it to our own worlds. So we can talk about what bits and pieces we've used, or whole cloth, how would you introduce the god of magic? But I think at current portfolio, it's like 7 different things or some number. But all of that aside, the question we always have a tendency to ask is, what drew you to pick Mystra?
Jay.
Well, I chose it because that was your first choice.
Rat it out.
I was happy to do any of the gods on the list, so I outsourced it.
Fair.
But I'm glad you did bring up the sort of ground rules here, Neal, because having seen your email with some of the questions, I was wondering whether, are we trying to create this goddess within a world of like Dungeon Masters Guild rules, where it's going to be really kind of like with the canon? If not, then great, we have a larger space to play. Before that, maybe Sandra could say, why did you choose it?
She is such an incredibly fascinating personality, especially considering the era in which the stories come from. Usually you see like any female characters as being nurturing. They are just good by default. The concept of like an evil woman character, they had to be ultra evil, if anything. And she's true neutral. And even in today's narratives, you don't see true neutral. Like, as long as you're advancing the study of magic, and you're not going to destroy magic, you're not going to destroy Like even humanity is debatable, right? Like, it'd be better if you don't, but she's not going to step in. You have powerful wizards, you have evil wizards, and she doesn't choose. It's just, how do you have a character like that, considering that it just bucked all the trends of storytelling?
Yeah, the only step in is your level cap.
Right.
You can't do spells above this. Outside of that, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You do you.
I think everybody agrees. We don't want to repeat, right?
She only lets magic users go to 4-star restaurants now. The 5-star restaurants are out of bounds because Karsus ruined that for everyone.
Thanks, Karsus.
That one time. Because that is the other point, is when adding a deity like this, there aren't a lot of rules about who gets to be involved with them. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the times that we start talking about deities that are a little bit lower on the scale is it this cleric? Is it this paladin? Is it these certain set of followers? When it's Mystra, I almost start to reframe what I'm thinking in the sense of, well, how pervasive just in the world is this deity? Just overall, like your average individual may just know who Mystra is, where that's not true when it comes to Gond or someone else, where it's Mystra. You, like I said, just the regular everyday person is like, oh no, I know who that is.
Mm-hmm. So we have this blank canvas in front of us now, and we've got the kind of the purple quill of Mystra right now. We're ready to that first blot of ink onto our canvas. But I feel like before we do, we've got to ask the question, in this world that we're making, is Mystra like a deity in the sense of like in the fantasy world of an actually existing entity, or is she just a myth? Is she just a story and magic is the thing? Like, is this someone that can materialize in the world and like walk around? Is it like just a Greek god in our world, as in a story, or who knows, maybe an existing thing? Leave the agnostic, the teacups around the sun or whatnot. Like, what is our Mystra going to be? Is this? Are we going like fantasy god like that exists and can potentially show up and appear in your dreams and whatnot?
I like the idea of it being an actual deity, but maybe the information that everyone has is wrong or has been exaggerated or, twisted in some way. To Sandra's point, if Mistra's true neutral, it'd be interesting to see different groups co-opt her into, oh, no, she's actually this or she's actually that. Like, she's on our side, and for these reasons or whatever. And maybe you have differing factions who all believe that their actions are justified by her when in reality she doesn't care, or she supports all of them equally and is not like going to support one side or the other in a conflict or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of where my head goes.
I like that idea too, because then that connects us to modern day world religions and whatnot.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
An interesting facet of her is that, like, the ebbing and flowing of magic with her presence too. So I can see that if magic has withdrawn from the world, having that kind of political play over like, oh no, she favors us, she doesn't favor you, and that's why you can't use magic. So that in and of itself kind of strikes that there's already a problem with how much magic is available right now.
Well, then, which leads into the question of, okay, what is magic in our world, right? So is magic the weave? Is it the thing that encapsulates everything? Is it entropy? Is it what? Is it the string theory? Is it somewhere? Is it, turtles all the way down? Like, where's our magic coming from that is Mystra? Like, I think we don't want to decouple Mystra from magic, right? I mean, that seems to be kind of central to the concept here. But I mean, we could. Maybe she's been kind of kicked out. I think it's sort of happened before with like Midnight and her, like the human avatar of Mystra, right? So, I mean, but if we want to keep Mystra and magic as like kind of a singular entity, I suppose we have to then get into like sort of what is then magic in this world that we're doing. Is it something that everyone is born with? Is it something that you study and learn, or is it both?
So my big thing is, one, we're not giving Mystra stats, because if she has stats, she can die. And that's a big rule.
Yeah.
I have about certain levels of deities because I don't want to deal with it.
Smart man.
It's important. The second you do it, they can die. So we're not going to do that. Avatars, manifestations, we can deal with that all day. I also like that we've added the element. Okay, this is very Warhammer 40,000 orcs belief. Red paint makes things go faster. But what if, what if that's it? Like, what if the certain aspects of Mystra become more prevalent and more real with belief? So when a faction becomes stronger, that aspect of Mystra becomes stronger. And so it is directly tied to her, but the more belief and the more of something that exists, that becomes more true.
Stronger tie to her, perhaps stronger powers granted or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so then magic is tied to belief. I guess then we have to then say, okay, what is belief? It's belief in something that.
Never mind, I'm out. I lied. I don't like this anymore.
Is it belief in, like, I mean, I could just believe that 2 + 2 is 4, right? Or do we really want to get magic physical with this? Because maybe, right? It's the kind of thing that makes people jump off of buildings because they think they could fly. They believe that they could fly, but in this world, it actually works if you really believe it. But then to go back with what Derrick and Sandra were saying, though, but then some people are just not chosen to be the ones. So even if they do believe it, they're still going to fall. She's neutral. Right? So now we have this thing there's, the true believers or the chosen ones and what have you, right? Neo from the Matrix was a believer of Mystra. That's why he went.
Okay, so if I was developing this in my day job, there's a list of questions that come up. Like, first off, if they believe so strongly in magic that isn't 100% working, right? How much science do they believe in? Is it pretty much zero? Is magic everything, and therefore they're willing to jump off a cliff to see if they've got it? Who controls the belief system? Like, if you make a heavy belief system, you now have zealots, you now have powerful. Are they just tricksters? Are they magicians? Do the people who control everything actually have power? And it just spiders out from there. So it almost starts getting more messy when you bring true belief into it than you expect.
Well, and then all these acolytes can do the kind of thing where maybe they know, or maybe they have a spell that actually can see this cosmic footprint on all people to know whether or not they've been chosen by Mystra or not. And so they can manipulate certain political leaders to, I think, make them believe they're really powerful, but actually they're doing this empire to, the emperor to Darth Vader. They're just slowly manipulating, making them think that they're magical, that they're really big, and then pulling the curtain out underneath them to then wrest political control. That could be really fun.
That's a solid paid one for a character, whether or not they got chosen.
Yeah, one of the interesting things that you also get to do is that a lot of these answers get to be okay. Because once you start developing the world further, the belief system is it a sorcerer opposed to a wizard, where a wizard is the more scientific approach, where it's belief in the science, where if I do X, Y, and Z, and every time I do it and I do it the right way, then this happens. Mm-hmm. Whereas the other person is like, I jump off the cliff and I fly. And you're like, oh, all right. And you're like, well, they're flying. So it's hard to say no because that person is definitively flying. Let's not look at the bottom of the cliff and ask more questions behind the curtain. But the other thing is with the person who sits there and invests the time, effort, and learns the ability, the scientific approach and the belief therein can also garner just as much magic. And I'm sure they do. They agree. They totally agree. And they don't have any discrepancy in their opinion whatsoever.
Right.
I kind of am thinking of a character who's on the flip side of the coin who doesn't believe but is still magic and is just baffled by this. Why do I have powers if I cannot fathom and therefore do not believe in this? That I think that would be funny too. A sorcerer gets awakened and they're like, this is fake. This is not real. Why can I fly? That would be.
They do make compelling characters. I think that makes me immediately think of Keanu Reeves' character in Constantine. It's yeah, you have all this power and you have no faith whatsoever because you've seen it all. And you are devoid of faith, but you wield this power nonetheless.
Because it's this cruel cosmic game. Well, Derrick, you made an interesting thing. You said when you said awakened by magic. So with our iteration of Mystra, then what does awaken entail?
It really depends. If you're playing traditional 5e 5.5, you've got your sorcerer class who something happens that causes them to gain this magical power, right? Whether it's the circumstances of their birth, or, you know, they are on the top of a mountain and get struck by lightning, or, you know, you can kind of do whatever you want with it. So like, you could go wild. You could say everyone who's born on the night where there's Aurora Borealis, you know, in this region gets granted magical powers. Or maybe there's a solar flare, or maybe, you know, whatever domain you've kind of decided Mystra has, like whatever she may have control over, if she can extend some kind of control into this material plane and cause something to happen that would grant powers in a massive way, that could be a way that this happens, you know. Or maybe it's really specific and there's only one person who gets picked.
If you're on a bus that's going more than 50 miles an hour.
Yes, yeah. And you got to keep it going that speed. You have to have a horse and cart going.
Well done.
Plus, your internal energy will diminish, and you will sort of cosmically implode.
And Sandra Bullock is your passenger. Yeah.
There's a Sandra there too. It's a full circle.
Or you try to get in tight with some bank robbers because you're working for the government.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mystra leaves us feeling with a certain quality of whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, you jump out of a plane to see if you can fly, you know? Anyway.
And you're dressed up as the previous kings of different nations so that you can hide.
You got a time machine? Okay, come on.
Oh. This has turned into a film podcast, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah, email in if you found all the references in today's episode. But I mean, it's every time that we've said something, there is an inherent level of belief in it working, because you said if you go to this certain area at this certain time and an Aurora Borealis happens and a child is born during that, then they gain magic. And it's like,
yeah, it's like it becomes a tourism thing. Like the wealthy,
that's what I thought right now.
Can bring their children to get magic. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Or like maybe religious groups, like if they're wealthy enough, have an invested interest, maybe they keep it secret and they like kidnap kids in the middle of the night and ship them up there or something. There's all sorts of weird stuff you could do with it.
I thought of the bloodline thing too, of just, you know, the belief that the bloodline has magic and then wanting that not to be the case, you know, with certain, that'd be a really fun way. And I'm sure it's out there. First and foremost, everything's out there. Nothing I say do I think is really original, but the idea of having your fighter, but like when you choose Eldritch Knight, it's because it's something you couldn't get away from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the idea that like your bloodline has magic in it and it's something you just cannot get away from. And so then you pick that subclass that has a little bit of magic, or is it the Arcane Trickster for the rogue? Because again, you just, as much as you want to be the rogue, you know, inherently, like there is an element of magic about you that you cannot avoid.
I don't want to go to magic school, Dad. I want to be a sword fighter.
You're going.
And that's more like, oh, my kid wants to go to magic school.
Oh, no.
I'm going to backstab someone when I'm there.
Too close to home. So do we want to bring in the kind of saloon Shar child of light and dark element, or do we want to make our Mystra sort of this like eternal mother, kind of cosmic, you know, like the reason why even the ancient civilizations before the time of this of our game setting are finding like these mother votive statues in the earth, because it's always been Mystra all the time, right? She's like the goddess of all gods. Or do we make her like the lesser deity underneath these bigger ones? So we want to shift.
You have like 5 questions in one.
That's a lot of questions.
I think question 1 is she ever physically going to appear for your party? Because then you start, you know, spidering, because some of those questions are just null at that point. You're never going to touch the higher realm if she's going to physically be in the presence of the party. It's like too abstracted at that point, I feel like. But the question of like, how long does the history go? How often do you find artifacts? That's all great lead up to potentially meeting her.
Or it's avatars or something like that she sends to to commune with you, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Again, no stats. But aspects of her, especially if we're leaning into a campaign or an arc that is magic intensive. And even if we want to go so far as to pick a party member and have them be a chosen of Mystra in the way that Elminster is, or something like that, having aspects of Mystra show up that they have to interact with can be a lot of fun, especially for the DM, because there's no rhyme or reason, because all of the aspects can be different.
Yeah. And because she's constantly shape changing herself, it's like right within line of that, right? Like you may meet her in any form in any place because she could appear as anything or imbue power to appear as anything.
Okay, done. This is my middle surprise question. I've done this twice now. I don't feel bad. That means we each get to make, if we're up for it, what is our aspect of Mystra that the party will meet?
So I have one. One of the things I like to avoid is where the god just kind of shows up in like a human-like form and just starts chatting to the characters. Once you do something like that, like something of the mysticism of the god immediately just disappears. When you were talking, I had this idea of like the Coen brothers film, like A Simple Man, and just this idea of like a small weather event, or like how like the butterfly lands on somebody's finger in a way. And they just go like, whoa. And like the small little moments that causes somebody to have a moment of like religious revelation. It's never a big thing. It could be like the smallest little thing, the way a vase happened to roll off a table for whatever reason. And you just go like, well, why did that happen when I was thinking this? And I think that is, and that could be really
it's like inspiration,
like a moment of inspiration. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way to go for it. I like a butterfly, because butterfly is transformative as well.
Okay, this is a very specific reference. Chalk this up. Write this down. This is another one for this episode. No, because I watched every episode of Bluey with my kids. This reminds me of those moments when like Bluey or Bingo would notice a bug, and like it would just hyper focus in and completely change perspective on the entire world. And there was nothing else in the world but like how cool this bug was to them in that moment. And it makes me think of that.
Yeah.
Like the magic that is this tiny
thing
that I get to observe at this time.
Yeah. The sound of a bush warbler up in the trees, and like the sound of a bird call that all of a sudden connects to something and has this like profound resonance.
Well, you have such a natural like input for all the senses too, which sometimes we forget to put in, and those are like those true attachments for your memories. And what an amazing way to build that in.
Mystra's a smell.
It's what smells like after it rains.
Yeah, Mystra's a smell after it rains. Yeah. She left her laundry out.
Because her physical appearance is described as rainbow-colored hair, burning blue eyes, I feel like it'd be cool to it would be like around the campfire, and like they all think they see her face or something like that. So like a split second kind of a vision or something like that. Also, because she has the rainbow colored hair, maybe it's just a rainbow, but it's like shaped differently than other rainbows. Those, that's like a classic sign from God, right? So I think that'd be cool.
You could carry little prisms, little bits of glass around as followers and things.
You've got them like weaved into your braids or something, so when the sunlight hits them,
so cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
And when you light the campfire, all the first little embers that start sparkling are the things that cause the prisms to go. And yes, so and there's that moment when you're intoxicated by flame. It's made doubly so by these prisms that the sorcerer or sorceress wears in their hair. Yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
cool moment. Yeah.
When the Master Splinter comes out the middle, we all cry.
Oh, yeah.
No, wrong movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll go traditional. A little left of field though, but I want them to meet her or feel like they find her in the moment that a magic item is created. Inevitably, your players are going to ask for that sort of thing. And I feel like it's something that we don't always have them as directly involved in. And so what if they were there? What if they were there for that exact moment that magic item was created?
in the room when it happened.
It's written about
In the room.
the exact moment it happens. And in that moment, like, she is involved in some way, shape, or form, because that magic is going from mundane, or that item is going from mundane to magic. And she has to be involved in some way. And they are there and they get to experience some aspect of her in that moment. Do they see her? Do they feel her presence? But yeah, that for me, it would be that. And just being there, like, while either it's smithing or is it a cape or, whatever your players are wanting at that time. But like, that is the moment they actually get to experience the presence of Mystra.
Oh, it plays off like the masterpiece concept. Like when you've made something so pure with your talent that it truly is, you can't make anything better. And then she'd come in and imbue it. That would be super cool.
It's the best description is that I know of that comes to my mind is in the Salvatore books for Dritz when Brunner makes the hammer for Wolfgar.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very descriptive. And it makes me think of those moments.
And maybe it could be a moment of like eternal return, right? So every time this moment happens throughout the sacred texts, it's a moment when like the prophet has created a thing that through the iterations of time and eternity, however long you want to go, keeps happening. And there's this moment when like, oh, in this iteration, it was a painting. In this iteration, it was a hammer. In this iteration, it was something. These moments just keep happening. And like that just adds to the pantheon.
That would be another good character is you're the next one in line who's supposed to create this perfect thing.
And it's not happening. It's not
nice.
Close, but you're not there yet. Yeah. What is it you're supposed to be making?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not good at anything.
Every
I'm not good at anything.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This sounds super fun. I'd love to. Yeah. Woo. I'd love to be this character.
You'd have a lot to role play about, though. You'd have a lot to go off of.
Well, and it would have to be a thing that they're not good at the start. Right, whatever it is that they really think that they're good at, it's either adjacent or almost the polar opposite. And they have to have this like crisis of faith that then makes them turn and they say, "Oh, this is the thing that I never thought I was good at, or the thing I never wanted to do." But then they do it and they're amazing at it.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's it. I could be a dancer.
That's right. yeah.
Or it's like it's not a thing you have to make, but like it's not a physical object. It's just anything, and maybe it's like the friends you made along the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway.
Making your player do a random tool or like skill check every day in something they're not proficient in. And if by chance
they get that 20
one day,
make them roll disadvantage
and then you're
every
like,
day.
this was it. Yes. And they basically generate a magic item in that moment.
It has to be a moment of pure intentionality. When you can get into that, like the whole idea of like free will. Are you doing anything with intent? Are we just, these automatons following this situational thing? But here's the moment that I've chosen to do a thing. It's the first time in my life that I've done it. Mystra appears in the doing of that thing, that act, whatever it is, opening a window.
So much of magic is like the pursuit of power, right? So the moment you have a different motivation, like, no, I just actually truly want to make something beautiful, and then it happens, things like that. That's great storytelling.
And that may be kind of Bene Gesserit influenced by the acolytes in the area who are slowly getting you to do that thing that they've always wanted you to do it, but you think you've done it, and they've triggered Mystra so that they can catch her, and pull her out of the weave or whatnot.
There's just a whole cabal of people who've been behind the scenes pulling strings your whole life.
Why am I thinking of like Disney World with all the like the hidden doors where they're just like do the things and move you along?
Yeah.
Bob Ross was a Mystra follower.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't the paintings, it was the hair.
He was blessed with that hair.
He was not. It was a perm. He hated it and he wanted it gone. And they were like, "Yeah, that's not an option.
That's your brand,
my man,
buddy.
That's your brand, and you got to go get that perm all the time." And he was like, "Oh no, that's not good."
If he shaved his head, he wouldn't be able to paint anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just mean.
Did we all do our aspect, Sandra?
Oh, I thought we were just kind of jointly going. I kind of gave you all my good ideas. That's what you
Okay. With our powers combined.
Yeah.
I think we were all in gentle agreement of it had to be something kind of subtle.
Yeah.
I like it like that. When I've been heavy-handed with deities in the past, you're right. It kind of just it removes the mystery. It removes the awe. That's
a perfect way to segue into. I mean, it's not like we haven't been doing this the entire time, but to like put a finer point on it, what we often do to kind of round things out is we like giving homework, and by that it's just super fun things that people can go watch, they can read, anything that they can interact with to kind of get a better feel for the topic at hand. It's magic. Is there any is there any type of show that we like the magic system and we want to point people to? I've watched Witch Hat Altier recently, and it's really fun. You should watch it too.
Dark, the German TV show.
Oh,
Could be an interesting. It's got time travel elements. It's got sort of like fate, destiny.
be careful with your time travel.
Be careful with your time travel. That wasn't my homework assignment because I kind of went a different way with your question, Neal.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with an academic paper and like a research study called speech act theory. So if anyone's interested in this, I highly recommend that someone go look up speech act theory, which was pioneered by J.L. Austin and expanded by a linguist by the name of John Searle. I brought it up on our podcast a bunch of times, and it has these like levels of speak acts, and you may have heard these terms before, like a locutionary act, illocutionary act, and perlocutionary act, and more particularly the illocutionary act, which is the kind of intention or functional force behind words. And I think in there lies something really interesting to like a magical system or magic. We were kind of getting at these small little moments of like a butterfly landing on a finger or a rainbow or like staring longingly into a fire. But like sometimes we think we're just doing it unintentionally. But if there is an intention to that thing, what is it? And there might be something in like the 5 categories of illocutionary acts that might draw inspiration for like the root of your campaign or your magic system or what Mystra is trying to do, quote unquote, which I think could be fun and gets people to read academic journals. Homework.
Nice.
True.
Real
homework.
I like it.
It's funny that like you went deeply academic because mine was kind of pushing back on that. Every time you have magic, it becomes so stifled and formal, and like I think sometimes players forget to have legit fun with being able to like wield the arcane in any way. So my suggestion was kind of go read some Dungeon Crawler Carl, actually, where they just go crazy. Like you have this supremely normal guy, trying to survive this situation he finds himself in, and they just do crazy things all the time, and it's fun. It is legit fun, absolutely fun, and the author is just an absolute wonderful person. So if you haven't, just taken time out to read Dungeon Crawler Carl, do it. Just please, and then apply some serious fun to your characters. Be human. Be actually human with your magic.
Jelly beans!
Yeah, jelly beans for everyone!
I feel like for Dungeon Crawler Carl, it's funny because a lot of people were drawn to the books initially because they're like, the name Dungeon Crawler. Oh, it's Dungeon Crawlery. It's kind of gimmicky. It's fun. But then the people I know who've enjoyed it most have enjoyed it because of the depth of characters you explore in the subsequent books. That's so interesting, and you keep delving deeper into their motivations and their backstories and that kind of stuff, and that's what makes them sympathetic as characters. So I'll second that one. I'm going to talk about Brandon Sanderson again just because he's got so many different magic systems that whenever I'm thinking of magic, that's where I end up. But he wrote I don't know if I would call it a short story. It's like a novella called The Emperor's Soul. And talking about trying to make something perfect, that novella is a really cool story about a magic user who is tasked with creating something almost perfect with magic. And it's a really fun read about how she goes about it and how she combats with all of these struggles and like there's some politics going on in the background as well to try to create this thing. And it is really interesting and not very long, but a very fulfilling read. So speaking of like making that perfect thing that Mystra would bless, or that would, that's what came to mind. It's a really good story.
Oh, that's going on my reading list right away.
You can get it for free on Libby, if you have a library card.
Support the libraries, yes.
Yes, go support your libraries.
Shout out to libraries, yeah.
Yeah, Witch Hat Altier is, you learn the magic system really early. Basically, the whole world, it's like this big mystery, and then basically you quickly find out everyone could do it if they just learned how. But that's not going to work. You just can't have everyone do it. Basically, if you just draw it out on a paper, it'll work. So they're like, yeah, the average person just can't have access to that and just everyone can do everything. No, that's bad. So then that's how that works. The Owl House is also an interesting one. Like if you have kids, that's a show that you could watch together. And that's interesting because there's multiple magic systems. And it is, now that I think of it, starts out where like there is a larger source of magic that they work off of, and then that gets taken away, and then they got to figure stuff out again. That's always an interesting thing for your world. If you decide to do that, good on you. I'm not, because I don't want to navigate that. So, but yeah, those are my two that always stick out. I want to say our most important question though right now is, where can people go on this World Wide Web to find everything you guys are doing?
My hub for everything I'm working on or have worked on is my website, which is sandrarosner.com. It'll have links to 3RPG. It'll have links to the books I'm working on. If I'm collaborating with anybody at the moment, and the moment I'm allowed to release any of that information, it'll go there. I'm also on Instagram, Blue Sky. You can find me on Facebook, but not really, because who's on Facebook anymore? And I do a lot of conventions. So if you are ever on the West Coast going to something like NorwestCon, WorldCon, any of that, I'm usually a panelist and I'd love to have a chat.
And be sure to check out the 3RPG podcast on pretty much any of the places where you might find your podcast: Apple, YouTube, Spotify, etc., etc. It's the numeric 3 followed by RPG podcast, one word. And you can find all of our links down in the show notes.
Perfect. Well, yeah, you can go hear me over there. You said September something, and it totally slipped my brain because we talked about magic this whole time. And
now our brains are in the soup.
So you can check me out there, and yeah, we'll definitely have to have you guys back on sometime.
Very fun conversation. Neal, thanks for having us. My own private Idaho.
Idaho.
We just want to thank Jay and Sandra for coming on and spending some time with us and telling us about how we could add Mystra to our world. It's definitely a way that you could add Mystra to a world, because we just walked step by step through the process of adding that deity to a world. And I will stand on all 10 of my toes and say, again, if you give a deity hit points, it means they can die. Don't do it. If you're not comfortable with that, don't do it.
If you've added Mystra to one of your games, or if you haven't added Mystra to one of your games, but you have a cool idea about how to add Mystra to your games, or if you have given a deity hit points and lived to tell about it, you should tell us about that at dungeonmasterblock@gmail.com, or hop on the Discord and shoot us a little message there and tell us about how awesome it was or how terribly it went.
And of course, another way you can do it is heading over to your podcatcher of choice and leave us a rating and review, and you could say that Mystra sent you. I don't know. You do whatever you want when you get over there. I'm sure there's enough rules that if you type something super crazy, they'll fix it. Speaking of typing things super crazy, if you head over to social media, as always, good on you. But you can typically find us at DMS_block. That's at DMs block. And of course, as always, we're a proud member of the Block Party Podcast Network.
You can check out other awesome shows on the Block Party Podcast Network, like Detentions and Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters, DM-nastics, How Not to DM, Titans of Altera, The Bad Venture Club, Knocked Prone, and more.
But with that, as always, we want to thank you for listening to the Dungeon Master's Block, the place where we come to talk about the Dungeon Master, the most important person in the game, the only person capable of playing gods,
killing characters,
and lowering the ego scores of everyone else at the table. I'm DM Neal. Good night. Good luck.
I'm DM Derrick, here to tell you to keep on, and keep on dungeon mastering.
It's not inspiration, it's not wisdom, and it's bad advice.
Listen, it's a deity. Just do whatever you want. Just kill them. Kill them all. That's what I told you. You just heard it at the end of every episode, and it's going to be reiterated in this bad advice. Just kill them.
Goodbye.